This is a video for reduction printmaking. The first thing you're going to need to do is get a template, trace it to make sure your drawing is the right size. Any words will need to be backwards. Once you're done with your drawing, flip over the paper, get a pencil, and scribble on the back of the drawing. Make sure to cover the entire drawing. This is going to make for a carbon copy transfer so you can apply it to the rubber block. Once you have finished this, show it to me so I can get you the rubber block. Place your drawing face up on top of the block and line it up so it completely covers. Once you have it lined up properly, get a pencil and trace over every line of your drawing. Careful not to press too hard or the pencil will poke right through the paper. Make sure to go over every line. Once you have traced over every line, look at the rubber block and you should see a faint ghost-like pencil drawing on the rubber block. I like to go over this in pencil to make sure I get every detail. Look at your original drawing to make sure you are getting everything covered. Once you've gone over this in pencil, then take a Sharpie. Go over every line to make it permanent. Once you've gone over every line in Sharpie, it is now time to begin carving. Make sure to watch the safety video to avoid any accidents. The first thing we want to do is carve away any areas that we want to become white on our final print. This rolly tool is called a brayer. Get a small amount of paint on a piece of scrap paper and roll the paint out to a very thin layer. Go in multiple directions. You'll know the paint is at a thin layer when you hear a slight sticky noise. Then apply the paint onto the rubber block, rolling in multiple directions, getting up to all edges and corners. Once you've applied the paint evenly, get a 4x6 inch piece of paper, the same size as your rubber block. Make sure the corners line up and press down thoroughly on the paper to make sure that all the paint will transfer. Peel the paper off slowly to reveal your picture. On the first few prints, some marker residual may be left over. This will disappear after several prints. Now that you've got your first color printed, we need to remove any color that is in the next step. In mine, I will need to remove any areas that I want to become yellow on my final copy. That's the eyeball. I've mixed up a bunch of light blue. I'm rolling it very thin onto a piece of paper. Again, listen for that slight sticky noise. You'll know that you've achieved a nice thin layer of paint. Roll that onto your rubber block. Again, multiple directions, hitting all corners and edges. Using the prints you made from the previous color, make sure to line up the corners when placing it on top of the block. Press down thoroughly to make sure all the paint will transfer. Peel that off slowly to reveal your picture. Now that I've printed my copies with light blue, I then need to carve any light blue areas away so that I can print my next color. I've already removed some of the light blue from the nose and face area, but I still have some remaining around the fin. Careful carving. Remember, keep your hands behind the tool. Once you've carved that all away, apply a thin amount of paint to the paper, roll onto your project, go in multiple directions to get up to all those edges. Take one of your copies and make sure the corners line up. Press down thoroughly. The final stage is black, our darkest color. I'm going to remove all areas except for parts that I want to remain black. For my picture, this is mostly outlines of the letters and the shark. Apply even a rolling of paint onto the paper and apply that onto your rubber block. Take one of your prints, line up the corners, press down thoroughly. Always peel it off slowly and reveal your final copy. Here I have my color drawing, my final copy, and the final stage of the rubber block. Have fun!